Welcome to Yoga with Cynthia. I'm Cynthia Bialek, and both the host and the producer for this program. And Irene Faithful is here with me faithfully on most of the programs. And today's program is going to be back bends in yoga. So a lot of people have issues with that. They have low back discomfort, maybe some chronic pain over years of abuse. And they decide that they can't participate in yoga classes because it bothers their low back. But sometimes it's a postural or alignment issue that doesn't allow them to perform a backward bend comfortably. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with basic bending. We're going to start with a little bit of a warm-up to get the spine ready, and we're going to start with very basic backward bending from a standing position. Then we're going to go into some extensions from a kneeling position. And then we're going to go into them from a reclining position. So 3 different ways of going into backward bends. I want you to watch today's program for its content if you're not sure if these moves are appropriate for your body. But if you want to give it a try, I promise that we'll go step by step, and you may feel that you have some improvement in your overall comfort level. I know that several of my clients have had back pain, and when they've been successful in keeping up with backward bends, a lot of that pain goes away. So let's give it a try. We're going to start at the very front edge of our mat, and we're going to do some warm-up movements first. Remember, we always want to traction the spine, lengthen the vertebrae before we bend back or before we twist. So that's what we're going to start with. Let's start with equal pressure on the hands. We call this Samastihiti, equal pressure, and we're going to press into the palms. Remember, in yoga, you want to be breathing in and out through the nose, and always remember to relax the throat, okay? Stay positive. We're going to press those hands in and up. Bring those arms all the way up over your shoulders. Draw the arms into your ears. Stretch long. Then we're going to open to the right side of the room. Look back over the right shoulder. Bring those arms up, tall mountain here, and look to the left. Look back over your left shoulder. Then tall mountain here, and bring those hands back into prayer pose or Samastihiti. Okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to tilt to the left, reach up with your right arm, and I want you to push down into the heel of your left hand and reach up with the heel of your right hand. So you really feel that spine stretching, the lat stretching rather, and the spine in a lateral flexion position. Okay, so our spine is laterally flexed, and we're stretching the lats. Now let's bring those hands back in prayer. Equal pressure here, and then push down into the heel of your right hand and up with the heel of your left hand as you stretch the lats on the left side and laterally flex the spine. Okay, and then we're going to bring those hands in and interlace your fingers this time. Press the heels of your hands up, and once again traction the spine. And here's where we're going to start to achieve a little bit of a back extension. So I want you to think about your thigh bones. These are your hip bones, these are your thigh bones. We're going to push those thigh bones forward so your tailbone drops down and your rib cage lifts. And I want you just to look up and then round the back, draw the navel into your spine, look down. Take a deep breath in, lift the chest up, exhale and round the spine. 2 more times. Deep breath in, lift your chest, exhale and round the spine. And last time, push up, exhale and round the back. Now drop the arms down, swing them up, stretch long, and swing them down. So on the exhale, we're coming down. On the inhale, we're raising up. 2 more times like that. And back up. And last one. Now when we come up this time, I want you to fall into your right heel. Lift your left knee up. Draw that knee up to your chest. Stretch the arms close to your ears. Move the ball of your foot around in both directions. Then we're going to step back with that left foot and bring the arms up towards the ceiling. Now, we're going to go into a pose called Virabhadrasana 1. It is a back extension pose. It needs to be done carefully, so you want to drop your tailbone down, Don't let your hip rise up like this and arch that low back. You're trying to drop the tailbone down and pull your left thigh forward. So drive the navel into your spine. Make that translation of your pelvis. Then lift the chest up. So you'll have less pressure in your low back. So there's our Virabhadrasana 1. Opening the chest. And now open to Virabhadrasana 2 and pull that hip back. Good. Stretch the arms straight out. Now we're going to bring that right arm back behind us, and we're going to make a fist behind our hip, between our glutes there, and drop the hands between the legs, and we're going to lift the chest up high. Look at the ceiling, lifting your chest up. Now keep pushing that left thigh. You're stretching the left psoas there, and you're releasing that low back. Now bring the head forward and arch that back once again. Bring the arms up, and we're going to fall towards that right knee. As you bring the arms up and over your shoulders, just drop the head down. Then release those arms, come back up, and let's traction the spine without extension and twist to the right. Come all the way around to the right side of your mat. Plane the arms back to center. Bring your hands in prayer and step the feet together. How did we do with that? All right, we're going to repeat that same thing on the other side. So let's raise that right heel. Bring your knee up. Engage your core. Move the ball of your foot around. Keeping that psoas strong. Thinking about your core. And step your right foot back. Make sure the left heel is facing the instep of your foot as you raise the arms up. Now, once again, we're going to stretch that psoas. We're going to drop the tailbone down. Move your pelvis into a neutral position to take that low back out of extreme extension. We call that curve the lordotic curve of your low back. So we want to minimize that so we can get more extension in the thoracic spine, the upper back. So let's look up at the ceiling once again. Virabhadrasana 1. And then we're going to open to Virabhadrasana 2. Keep your eyes straight ahead on your left arm, reaching out. Then we're going to bring that left hand back, interlace your fingers, and once again, focus on pushing the thighs forward and dropping those arms down. Slide them between the buttocks, pushing into the buttocks, dropping those hands between your legs, looking up at the ceiling, lifting your chest up high, keeping your left knee bent as you look up. And now as you start to bring the gaze forward, bring your arms away from your hips, and then start to straighten that left leg, stretching those hamstrings. Drop the head down, stretching the front of your chest and shoulders. Intense side stretch. Release those arms. Come back to center. Now traction the spine. Bring the arms straight up. Twist to your left. Come all the way around to that side of the room. And then once again, come back to center. Palms in prayer. Samastihiti. All right. So we are going to focus on tractioning the spine once again, but this time another pose called Utkatasana, or chair pose. Utkatasana means mighty, so mighty pose. And the reason why it's called chair pose is because we're sitting back as though we're sitting on a high bar stool. If you feel you can, sit even deeper as though you were sitting on a dining chair. You're going to reach the arms up, and this helps traction the spine. Imagine someone holding you at the wrists and you sitting your hips down away from that place. So you're stretching the fingers up in the air. You're pulling those hips down, sitting as low as you can. You should really feel that release in the low back now. Now drop those hands to your shins. I want you to start to straighten the legs. Those of you that have some back issues, you probably will want to stay right here. You don't want to overstretch that low back. Just let that head drop forward. Let the back release. If you feel you're able, you can take your hands down, but only do it if you feel comfortable doing so. Now, we're going to take that right foot back, and I want you to look once again between your feet. Make sure that the left heel is intersecting the arch of your right foot. Bend that left knee and come back up. Once again, assuming Virabhadrasana 1. But this time, we're going to turn to the right, twist all the way around. And now we're going to place our hands on the buttocks and lift your chest and pull your elbows in, just like you have two wings. And you're going to bring the wings into your back. Support your back by holding on to the buttocks and look up at the ceiling. So those of you that feel comfortable like this, please stay here. If you feel you can add some more, you can take your left arm back and you can look into the left hand. You can switch hands, taking that right hand back. Look into your hand. Bring both arms up, traction the spine. Now, hinge at the hips and pull the head forward. This is another great way to traction the spine. Instead of rounding out the back, just pull your head forward. If you feel you need to have some support, we have some blocks here. You can use a chair. You can put a chair in front of you. You can use a block just to put your hands up on like this. Or if you feel you have the flexibility, you can just let your hands fall and let the head come down. So you can decide which way you want to go with this. So as you fold, like Irene is doing, you're taking your tailbone up in the air, separating your sitting bones, allowing the chest to come down as close to the floor as you can take it. Deepening your breaths, really let your hips open as you stretch there. Now come back to the middle of your mat. You're going to step back with your left foot and come down to your knees. Now we're going to do a modified back extension here. Before we go to the other side, I want you to allow your pelvis to drop, bend your elbows here, and look forward in Cobra. If you need to drop a little bit closer to the floor, you can come to your elbows and stay here, whatever you feel comfortable with. And you'll notice how strong your back is. If you can bring your elbows off the floor and maintain that, that's using the erector spinae muscles, strengthening the back, which is very important to do if you have a weak back. You want to experiment with relaxing the back muscles and then trying to strengthen them. So let's go ahead and round out the back here. In cat tilt, release, stretch that low. Then we're going to step our right foot forward on the mat, step the left foot forward, and we're back into that forward fold. See how close you can come to the floor. Slow breaths here. Now come back up, slowly, lifting the chest up, tall mountain here, interlace your fingers, press up, traction the spine. Now look up, lift your chest in the air, breathe deep, and release those arms, step back with your left foot, and once again, find yourself in Virabhadrasana 1. Some of you may feel a little bit more limber now, and you can allow your arms to move back further or interlace your fingers and draw them into your ears. Looking up at the ceiling, opening now to the left side of the room, stretching the arms straight out. Let's bring those hands back to the buttocks again, pressing that buttocks forward, pulling your elbows inward. Allow your shoulders to come back. And if you feel comfortable, you can take the right arm back. Come back up. Then take your left arm back if you can. Come back up. Hinge at your hips, fall forward. Drop those hands down. And continue coming down to the ground, slowly releasing that low back. So as you continue coming down, separating your sitting bones, letting your tailbone go up, using your block if you need to, sliding your hands onto your hips if you can, letting your head come down. Trying to lift your tailbone up in the air to get the maximum stretch through the spine. Continue to breathe. Now we're going to turn back to the front of your mat, step your right foot back, come down to the knees. Once again, you're going to drop your hips forward, gently bend your elbows. Shoulders are back, elbows underneath your armpits in Cobra. If that's too high for you, come down a little bit, lower down here. Or if you want more of a challenge, make sure the hands are in the middle of your chest. Shrug your shoulders back, push onto the top of your feet now in Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog. Lifting your rib cage high, shoulders back. Deep breaths in and out through the nose as you hold here. And now drop to your knees, round out the spine now. Look between your legs, stretching out that back. So that you see me on the side. Irene's going to stay where she is. And between the two of us, you'll be able to look at the techniques. Okay, so what we're going to start by doing is placing our right foot forward on our mat. Okay, so our right foot is forward. And we're going to twist into that side. Opening to that side. And then drop those arms down, twist to the other side. Now, if you need a block for this, you can place the block on the outside of your right foot. We're going to take the left arm in the air, and this will help you support your backward bend. It's a kneeling reverse warrior pose. If you choose, you can come down a little closer and reaching back a little further. Now bring those hands down, release that back. Just let your elbows drop towards the floor, stretching out the low back here. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Let's switch legs. Now, because our bodies aren't totally symmetrical, you may discover, hey, this side works much better for me. Let's turn into that knee. And let's turn the other way. You can bring that block down underneath your hand. Makes it easy to reach there. Or you can drop down into your heel or put the block down on a lower level. Bring that left arm back. Lifting that chest as high as you feel comfortable. Looking up. And return to a kneeling position. Now, from a kneeling position, you can try using the strength of your thighs to support you coming back and forth, in and out of extension. So we're going to go ahead, place the hands on the buttocks, pull your shoulders back here, elbows in, and just lean back over those hips. If you feel you can, turn your palms, reach back, and then stretch up long once again, reach up, traction the spine. And once again, come back. This time, if you want to place your hands here or just go back, arms over your shoulders. Good. Come back and bring your hands down. Round out the spine. Stretch out the back. Release that low back. It's important to really draw that navel tightly to the spine so you get a complete release of your low lumbar spine. Now we're going to cross our ankles and have a seat. So we have several back extensions to do from this position. Some are real gentle, and we'll start with that first. So I want you to turn your palms so the heels of your hands are pointing inward toward your hips and your fingers are pointing away. And you're just going to lift the chest like you're basking in the sun. Here's your easier one, okay? But even doing this from time to time throughout the day, if you have a job where you're seated a lot, you can put your hands on the back of your chair and lift your chest in the air, just to relieve the tension in your neck, okay? So it helps you to reverse the curve in your cervical spine instead of keeping your head down like this at your desk all day. So a very nice way to reverse bad habits, always folding forward. Okay, our next one is a variation of that, but it's called fish pose. So in fish pose, we're going to come down onto our elbows here, and our fingers now are pointing in, and we're going to bring the elbows as close together as we can get them, and we're going to lift our head and try to bring the crown of your head all back down to the floor. Now, you can do that. You're going to lift your arms up and reach those arms back over your head. If you want more challenge, bring the arms in the air and bring the legs in the air. Full fish pose, Matsyasana. And now come back up. Stretch those arms up. And the antidote for that is to round forward. So instead of hinging at the hip, just round the back. Bring the arms forward, stretch out the back, and then just bring your elbows down right to your knees. Round at the back and bring the head to your knees. So we're not trying to focus on hamstrings here. We're just trying to focus on the back. If you can slide those arms out and get the benefits of the hamstrings as well. Bring those hands around or on top and just let your back stretch there. Now we have a reclining back extension called Setubhanasana, which is bridge pose. And we're going to use these blocks if you want to do it passively. So we're going to be on our backs. And if you put the block underneath your pelvis like this, and bring your hands to your side like this, you're in a passive bridge, okay? This is a very comfortable position, right, Irene? This would be a place you could stay for a long time, okay? And if you want the challenge, you can move that bridge up a little higher and wedge that block even higher against your body there. And if you are building, and once you've built to a certain degree, you can try the full wheel, which is a backward bend. You bring your arms back and lift up. So I want to take this moment to thank you for viewing our program today. We're going to end in Savasana. It's the best place to end, to relax the entire body. I hope you enjoyed our program. Be cautious with your backward bends. Start with the very basic. And when your body responds favorably, just do a little bit more, a few times a week until your body really responds and you see some major changes in your body. Good luck and continue watching our show. Bye for now. Join us in Savasana.